Welcome to the Grit Show from Gearist. I am Brandon. That is Aaron. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, Brandon. Another day in paradise.
Good, yeah, man. Hey, and it's warming up. It's summer. It's May 17th as we record this. You guys, if you're a subscriber, will hear this on May 18th. And you're in Virginia Beach, so it's kind of like beach season, such as it is. You know?
We're getting there. We had a very cold spell for a hot minute, and then I think Saturday, Sunday, it started getting warm. This morning was, I think it's 85 out there right now, so we're getting there.
Wait, 85 with 300,000% humidity. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. It was 86 here yesterday. I went on this run, and my body hasn't gotten there yet. And by the way, 86 yesterday, and then like I see this article on some weather thing on Facebook or something, and it's like, oh, just FYI, we might get snow Friday. I was like, get that? What? So,
yeah, not more than.
I mean, that's part of why my body hasn't acclimated though. So anyway, guys, before we get into the show today, number one, please like, subscribe, share, whether you're watching this on YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, listening on Stitcher, Spotify, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. Please leave us a review, like us, follow us, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If you want to get a hold of me and Aaron on our respective Instagram platforms, you can look at mine is at Gearist, Aaron's is at Aaron with 2 R's, and Garrod with 2 R's also, Aaron Garrod. And if you're watching this on the screen, you can see that. There's also, by the way, links in the show notes, so you'll be able to check that out. Today, this is Gearist, right? I mean, that's the name of the website, the channel, all that stuff. Today, we're going to talk about a crap load of gear. So what we're talking about right now is the gear that we are using thus far. So if you're joining us for the first time, the whole bent of Grit is Aaron's preparation toward running the Leadville 100 trail marathon, I guess. Leadville Trail 100 rather. On August 20th of this year. And back when kind of we started looking at all this stuff, Aaron asked me if I would like to pace him. There's a rule that says I can only do that from mile 62 on, right?
Correct.
So I don't have to run 100 miles. He does. But 38 miles is still no joke to cover at Leadville. So with that, we're going to look at a bunch of gear, but briefly before that, let's take a quick look at how the last week went for each of us. Aaron, how was your week, sir?
It was good. Sunday was the first time, I would say 6+ months, where I went for a run. Now it was 15, which wasn't my longest run, but sure. All 15 miles felt fantastic.
Yeah.
It was one of those where everything clicked. I would have gone much further had I packed more gear, but I took 2 gels on purpose because it was a 15-mile day. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, go see what happens. And it just, everything worked out. So I feel like I'm getting to that good spot of being able to put down some good miles.
That's awesome. I love it when your body kind of clicks into that place where it can just be on autopilot. And I've gotten there, or at least pretty close to there with a couple of runs thus far. And it feels really, really nice. Like, it's like you get in that spot, you don't have to concern yourself. If you've got water on you, it kind of just becomes like autopilot where you're not, okay, I've gone this far, I have to drink this much water. Because it's then when you really start enjoying it and you can kind of check out. And we talked a little bit about that the last couple of weeks, is it's like, at what point do you kind of, I mean, look, this is the whole grit thing, right? It's not just grit from the run, because grit can get you a long way. And frankly, grit could get you to the end of any finish line. I mean, you look at David Goggins' story, right? In his first 100, grit, plain and simple, is what got him to the finish line. But with what we've been talking about, it's kind of getting through all the other stuff so that you can really, your grit is just something that becomes a part of your programming, right? And part of that, as we've talked about, is kind of that we're loosely using the hashtag FJL for find joy living, because I feel like when you're enjoying these pieces, like, you're finding joy in that run, right?
100%.
Yeah, you're not just going, oh god, I gotta run. Oh, it's hot. It's not like me pissing and moaning about it being hot. Oh god, it's hot. It's all this. You're just getting out and doing it. You know what I mean? And I think getting to that spot is key. So before we started up the show, I was telling Aaron about this run. I was going on Sunday, this past Sunday, because that's kind of like my long run day. And I get out there and I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna do 15 miles. It's gonna be friggin' awesome. And then I went up to this place and I was like, okay, I know this trail. And I got on the road and made a wrong turn and immediately went straight uphill. And it just wasn't. Aaron called it character building. I call it a pain in my ass. So I did like 5, and I was like, "You are just such a little bitch, Brandon. Why aren't you able to do this?" But it's fine because, frankly, it was so steep. It was like a 20% gradient out of the gate. It just straight uphill is in this place called Johnny Park Road, which is kind of up towards Estes Park, and it's just this Jeep road that's straight uphill at this part, and I blew my calves up on like the first mile and just sucked for like the next 4, and then kind of wandered around the woods. For it was just not a great run. But then I went yesterday and it did begin to get back to that spot, to that autopilot spot. So I did this 5-mile loop that's near my house, which is it's trail-ish. I've shown you pictures of it before, Aaron. And I did that, and the first 3.5 miles were fantastic. Like I was in a good cruisy space. I didn't need water with me. Even at the end when I was overheating, I didn't need water with me. I wouldn't have turned it away, but I didn't really feel dehydrated or anything. The last mile and a half, that heat was like, "What's up, dude?"
Surprise.
Yeah, and it sucked. So anyway, today we are going to talk about gear that we are using thus far, and I've got both of us. Aaron said it's funny. He goes, "God, I hope there's not a fire because if there is, we're kind of SOL." So what we're gonna do, I think, Aaron, you tell me if this makes sense to you, is kind of start at the top of our bodies and work our way
Head down.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to go. And so I don't have a hat with me. I've been wearing a lot of this Patagonia hat, which is kind of a duckbill trucker hat thing. I've been wearing that a lot. I go through these phases with wearing hats where I definitely will wear like a bandana sometimes because I want the top of my head to be open, but then my head gets sunburned sometimes. So, do you have a hat with you, or we can move on from that? All right, what hat?
So I actually have wearing? 2.
Oh,
because depending on what I'm doing, I brought 2.
Nice.
So first off is the Boco
rock.
Shout out running, etc.
Nice.
Mesh trucker hat. It's got the laser etched mesh backing, which I find awesome. You can see through all my sweat there. It keeps the sweat out of my eyes on those hot days when I'm going long. Yes. So I'll wear that hat when I'm going long, or if it's cool, because it is kind of warm. But the hat about this year so far has been this thing, and if you can't tell, you can't.
There you go.
Get out of the way. This thing, right? So it is a packable.
Oh, so we just had a breakup in signal. So sorry, Aaron, you're saying Brooks calls it the Brooks packable hat. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's the Brooks packable hat. Nice. It comes in 2 colors. This sweet. I can't tell if you can tell because of the daylight I have, but it's like a yellowy white and then a black. But this right here is awesome for those runs where you may start in the dark and you don't want a heavy hat.
Yep.
And then sun comes out and you want some eye shade. Perfect hat.
Is it yellowy because of the sweat that is on it?
Not yet. I haven't had it long enough to destroy it yet. So
I love it.
It still looks new.
That's awesome. Okay, so fantastic. And guys, by the way, as we comment through these things, we'd love to hear what you guys, either if you have that product, let us know your comments on that particular thing. We'd just love to see if you guys are using it, what you think of those things. And if not, let us know what your favorite hats are. Let us know what your favorite. We're going to talk about shoes and shorts and shirts and headphones and all kind of stuff. So next, are you wearing sunglasses when you run? I don't. There you go. What are you wearing there?
So I've been a fan of these knockaround Torrey Pine sport glasses.
Okay.
Because they come polarized. They've got a sweet rubber little nose piece. and they're like $25, and I can buy 4 of them
Really?
and go through them like I go through underwear. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've got underwear that are as old as like from high school, so so
Fair enough.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit I don't in the winter when there's particularly when there's snow on the ground, I might get a little snow blindness thing going on. I might wear more sunglasses when I run. I wear them all the time when I ride. I wear them frequently when I hike. But when I run, when I'm producing that much sweat, what I find is that, and this is going to sound so stupid, but I mean, it is what it is. My eyebrows sweat more, and there because I guess the air isn't blowing on as I run because I'm so fast. Don't you know? I'm just so freaking
Speed
fast.
racer.
Yeah, basically like the Flash. And so my eyebrows sweat more and it runs down into my face. I mean, don't get me wrong, I sweat and my sweat runs down into my face without glasses, but it happens much more quickly with glasses on. So I'd say I run with glasses maybe 25% of the time. I mean, it's not never for sure. Like I have glasses that I love. There's one that I have that I didn't bring because I didn't even think about it from Julbo, which actually is, I mean, fantastic lens. It's their Zebra, I think is the name of it, technology. And it's a photochromatic lens. So it
Oh,
shifts,
nice.
it's darker and it's crazy lightweight. I mean, you don't notice it. And they're actually on my Instagram, there's some pictures of me wearing it. It's very cool. So, um, headphones. So I am an Apple guy. I'm like on my Mac right now. I have an iPhone, all that sort of stuff. And generally speaking, if I'm going to wear headphones while running or cycling or hiking or whatever, um, I I have evolved, I guess, to where I really want to hear the ambient sound. There's a safety aspect to that. I mean, especially if you're bike riding on a road biking, you want to be able to hear cars and things like that. When running, I feel like, especially if you're on a trail, it behooves you to be able to hear mountain bikers or things like that behind you, because while runners certainly have the right of way over mountain bikers, and I say that as a mountain biker and a runner, pay attention, mountain bikers. Bikes never have the right of way here in Colorado. I don't care if you're going uphill or downhill. If you're a runner or hiker, or any sort of pedestrian, and you choose to give bikes the right of way, that's great. And I love it. There's so many bikes here that are really just so attentive to that, and it's fantastic. But there are not quite equal to as many, but there are a lot of cyclists that don't care. And I'm specifically speaking about mountain biking because road biking, I mean, there's plenty of room to go around and whatever. That said, with headphones, I like something that allows me to hear that ambient noise. And so I do run in the AirPods Pro. I was running in AirPods for a while. I will tell you straight up, to those of you listening, if you use regular AirPods, and I haven't had my AirPods Pro that long, nor am I running in them that much. Um, AirPods, if you sweat in them, like they're super durable, they don't fall out, whatever. But if you sweat in them, you're going to mess up the microphone or something. Um, and in the AirPods Pro, I'm not sure yet. But I have these guys. So these are the JBL Tour Pro Plus, what are they called? Tour Pro Plus TWS. You guys can see these. So the first thing I would say is that the case is it uses just surface technology. So you just put it on a charging pad or something. You don't
Ooh,
have to
nice.
plug it. You can plug it in using USB-C, which you can see right there. But otherwise, it's independent ear, right? And so each one of these, you can set up kind of whether it's going to be ambient or if it's going to be completely noise canceling, or basically how much is it going to listen to the outside world. And so while these are indeed inner ear pods, what you wind up with is a sound setup to where you can hear as much or as little of the outside world as you want. And then you can adjust it via the app on the phone. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. So these are the JBL Tour Pro Plus TWS. I like it. What about you?
I'm gonna have to look into those. So put the link on there so I can look
Yeah.
at those.
Yes.
I've got currently I'm rotating between these guys, some JBL or
Nice.
some Jaybirds.
Okay.
Um, about 2 years old, so they don't make this model anymore, but they have some newer models. Good. So what I like about these, if you can see, are the little wings attached to them. I have different size ear holes apparently. So I get to custom fit them, which is nice.
Yeah.
The audio, the microphone on these isn't super awesome. Okay. Everything else is wonderful. So what if I fear I'm gonna have to get on a conference call?
Yeah.
AirPods.
There you go. Yeah. I think that, did those come with different size, and do they all have the wing thing?
No. So they have three or four different ear wings.
Yep.
You can rock them with or without.
Yep.
And then they have like 4 different ear hole kits. So
same thing.
You can customize. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to go, I feel like. Okay, so now let's talk about, because we're not there. I mean, I looked for it and I couldn't find it. Sunscreen. Do you wear sunscreen when you? No, you don't. You just bring it on, Cancer. Let's do this.
I mean, I'm going to be real honest here. I live at the beach. My wife yells at me all the time for not putting sunscreen on. I put it in my kids multiple times a day.
Yep.
I just don't put it on.
Yeah, I'll say, there's increasingly more, especially coming out of COVID and things like that. There's an increasing amount of research being done around vitamin D. And I think that what it boils down to is the excessive amounts of direct sunlight that you want to avoid. And so when I go to the beach, which we will be in a month or so, when you go to the beach, there's no shade, and I spend all my time in the water, so there's no shade there. I will put sunscreen on, probably, some of the time wear a hat. But when I run, I tend to just put some on my face, my neck, and my ears. My arms I'm not really worried about, because by and large, with the exception of like yesterday, my run yesterday was a different story. But by and large, I'm not really in exposed sun the whole time. Like, I'm through trees and all this kind of stuff. That said, I tend to reach for whatever is easy. And my my son, who is 22-ish months old, just little 22 and a half months old, my wife is using this Badger is a brand of sunscreen. I'll put all these in the show notes, but it's like this all natural mineral sunscreen that's not using chemicals and all this kind of stuff. Super thick. It's like an SPF 40. But again, I'm really only putting it on my head, right? So like from the shoulders up, the parts that are really exposed. That said, I'd love to hear what other people are wearing. I'm not somebody who can wear those arm guards that are supposed to be cooling and all that stuff. I mean, I know that there are things that are supposed to be like a cooling garment, but the oxymoron of that is so, like, I can't. I just I can't. So
no.
But I will say, and I know you guys have this there, and we certainly have it here, insect repellent. So when I go run here, we have some of the flies, these like biting flies. It's not nearly as bad as it is there. Parts of the deeper south, even parts of the Midwest. I mean, basically parts where it's not quite as humid or much less humid than it is here, much more humid than it is here. But this is Murphy's Naturals mosquito repellent balm. So this is specifically for mosquitoes. But what I like about it is that it's this little like deodorant stick size thing, and so I could just be like, put a little bit behind the ear or whatever it is, and it tends to lay over top of my sunscreen. It is plant-based and DEET-free. That said, I am not a DEET absolutist, because let me tell you, if it's me or the mosquitoes, I will DEET the crap out of them, and it will be all good. But I have seen people down kind of more your way that the flies, like the horse flies, are so bad that they'll take like a piece of Gorilla Tape or like a fly strip and like put it upside down so the adhesive is out like a mohawk down the back of their hat, so that, because the flies tend to attack the head, and they're like, they'll get back from their run and there'll be like 50 flies on this thing. It's nuts.
Gross. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so I live steps away from the state park.
Yeah.
And talk about breeding ground for horseflies and deer flies and mosquitoes. I mean, I've got the mosquito squad come every 3 weeks just for my house so we can enjoy it outside.
Yep.
Off deep woods.
Yep.
Whatever,
Yep.
and whatever the most potent, terrible thing for those flies is what I'll put on my body.
Yeah.
But I also try, like, once they start coming out, especially like July, August, you have to run in the morning before the sun comes up, before the flies wake up. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah. Because they were up drinking the blood of people that spend the day drinking bourbon.
Yeah. Well,
they were partying the night before as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, you can't avoid it here. So
right.
I do what I can, but neck down, because as soon as you put that off on your head and you start sweating, it's just it's in your mouth, it's in your eyes.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I will also put it on my clothing because I don't care, right? Like, it's just, so if it's something like this stick thing, just put it on your shoulder, because it's the smell of it, right? That's what's kind of keeping things away. There's actually, and I knew about this years ago. So my family, we had a couple houses on the Piankatank River, so that's north of you. If you know where the Rappahannock is in the York, the Piankatank is kind of in between. If you know where Gwynn's Island is,
Yep.
And so we would get this stuff called mosquito czar. I think that's what it's called. And basically, it's this all natural, but it's a garlic based mosquito stuff. And so it's garlic, and you put it in like a broadcast sprayer, not a broadcast sprayer, but one of those pump sprayers with like some soap, because it's the glycerin that allows it to stick and things like this. And it does a good job, but you can't find it because it's so popular, yeah. So let's see. Okay. So let's talk about, well, I mean, is there anything else neck up that you're wearing, dealing with? I think so.
No.
Shirts. So I brought a shirt here.
We're almost at shirtless weather here.
We are. No one needs to see that for me. That's why we have a lot of remote hills. There's people that are going, can you please put on more clothing? Why are your shorts so sir, why are your shorts so short?
Yeah, right.
I don't know what the name of this shirt is that I'm going to hold up here. I can tell you, I really don't know what it is. It's from Saucony. I really like, you know what? I actually may have the name of it. But anyway, it's from Saucony. It's a pretty straightforward shirt. I mean, what's great about it is that it's not overly built. It's not trying to do anything. Yeah, it's called a rerun short sleeve shirt. It's not trying to do anything over the top. It's not like I this one shirt one time, I won't mention the company that it was from, but they had like silicone grippers like on the shoulder, like silicone ridges on the shoulder, like the lats up here. And they had them there because they were like, well, if you're wearing on the outside, if you're wearing a hydration pack, you don't need it sliding around. I'm like, bro, if you're wearing a hydration pack that's sliding around, you should get a different size of hydration pack.
Tighten it.
Yes, just to adjust that son of a bitch down. So pardon me, language, Brandon. Good Lord. So yeah, the rerun shirt by Saucony, pretty basic, good looking. Actually,
is there a seam across the center?
Yeah, but it's very lay flat. So it's very very kind of like double stitched. Yeah. So there's nothing. I'll try to hold up to the camera here. So for those of you listening, so there's nothing to it. I mean, yes, you can feel it, but it's not something that chafes, and it's below your nipples, so it's not rubbing on the nips, which is key. By the way, to those of you that have, I'm not really like Andy from The Office. If any of you guys watch The Office, where he goes, they run the Michael Scott's race for cure of in 87 different semicolons or subtitles and whatever. I'm not like that, but over a long run, especially with sweat, especially when it's flatter, ironically, because when it's flatter, there's more vertical oscillation than when it's uphill and you're kind of grinding. Chafing of the nipples sucks. I don't really it doesn't happen to me very often. It hasn't happened in years, because I tend to wear this compression shirt. It's super lightweight. It's called Heat Gear from Under Armour underneath this shirt. And so, or any shirt that I'm wearing, and that helps with that. But if you've never experienced that, don't knock it. It could happen. Trust me.
Oh, yeah. I came home from a run a couple weeks ago. Took my vest off in the garage.
Yep.
Put it down. And the first thing my wife said to me was, "Are your nipples bleeding?"
Such a good look.
I'm like, apparently. I mean, it was. I couldn't feel it because of I had a vest on,
Yep.
hydration pack on,
Yep.
and then felt it in the shower.
Yeah. Oh my God, the
So
water.
Band-Aids are a man's best friend.
Band-Aids. I've done A&D or even just something Body Glide. But again, since I started wearing, it's just a lightweight compression shirt. It doesn't really
Hmm.
do anything except for, um, it definitely does a good job of keeping you cool. But it creates a very slick barrier, so everything just slides. Nothing really chafes like that. So I like that a lot, including your armpits, because armpit to arm, like kind of right in this area, doing the kind of arm forward and back constantly over the course of hours and hours, you can certainly chafe. But even with this, the seams are so lay flat that it doesn't really matter.
Perfect.
What shirt do you have?
I have one of my favorites,
Nice.
Patagonia Capilene base layer shirt.
Nice.
This one just happens to be a trail running one.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, super lightweight shirt. Again, nothing to it, right? It's like you're no seams, no nothing, no gimmicks.
Yep.
Just a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Still smells good. So, and this is 2 years old. So
Yeah,
rock and
Capilene
roll.
is great material, and they have like different grades, kind of heavier and lighter Capilene.
Yeah.
It's expensive stuff, but I'll say, we're about to do a review here pretty soon, not of a Patagonia product. I mean, we're going to do a review of some Patagonia products, but what I reviewed is that I had these pair of ski pants, well, touring pants, snow pants, and they're my favorite. I have several pairs of Patagonia that I really, really love. This pair just fits really well. It's lightweight enough. It's a shell, so it's not insulated, all that stuff. And it got this tear in the crotch. The seam came apart. I mean, I've had them for like 5 years. And so Patagonia has this program, their worn wear program, where you just send it back. It cost me $5 in shipping, and that's it. You send it back to Patagonia, they fix it and send it right back to you.
Or
If it can be
replace it.
fixed.
If they can't be fixed, they'll replace it.
Well, but not for free. Not for free.
Oh.
No. They'll send it back to you. If they can't repair it, they'll send it back to you unfixed, or they'll fix it for free and send it back to you, which is what happened with me. Or you can donate it, and what they'll do is they'll take apart the fabric and use the fabric for other things, to patch things and what have you. It's a great program, and so we're gonna do a review of that, because I just got my pants back. And I'll tell you, the longest part was I kind of dragged ass on printing off the shipping label, but once I got that done, the longest part was it getting there and getting in processed. But once it got in processed, and I get this email that's like, "Hey, we've received your repair and we're taking a look at it," I had it back in my hands inside of a week. So it's very, very fast.
Nice.
But it took like 4 weeks to get there. And I wasn't in a hurry. I mean, it's after the ski season, really. And again, I have multiple pairs of pants. I'm not super worried about it. But yeah. So yes, that's an awesome shirt. I have this Patagonia one that I was going to bring, but I think it's dirty because I just just ran in it. But yeah, Patagonia, people knock on it, call it Patagucci. I get it. I'm not stupid. I'm not ignorant of that fact, that Patagonia is expensive, but the durability of those products are like,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It cracks me up when someone says it's expensive and they have like an Architrax jacket on
yeah,
or something. Or I'm like, you paid more than that than I paid for this. So
yeah,
good job.
it's like, get products. I'm a firm believer, and that said, I don't have to lay out for super expensive gear a lot of the time, but like, it's like, get things that are going to be quality, because the macroeconomic cost, so like the long-term value of that, is far lower. If you go year for year, what is the cost in a given year of those pants versus a pair of pants that I could go to Play It Again Sports? I go to Play It Again Sports, get a really good pair of pants that for $100, let's say, that are lightly used or even good shape, and they'll last me, a couple years. Whereas I can get these pants, yes, they're much more expensive, but I can do twice the activities in them. They do everything that I want. They're repaired if there's a problem, and they're going to last a super super long time instead of just a couple years. Now, granted, they cost like $500, but the macroeconomic cost is way worth it. The value, you know.
Oh yeah.
Anything else on the top? So, are you? So we're not wearing. Oh, you have a hydration pack. Obviously, we're not wearing jackets and things this time of year. I'm not wearing jackets and things either. I mean, look, if I can get away with never wearing a jacket, I would do it, but I can't. What? So I know that Camelback sent you a couple things. So what are we looking at from Camelback there? And by the way, Aaron's got two things. One of them, Neil, who you guys saw on the show a few weeks ago, who will be back on the show. Neil is actually going to be doing another Camelback for us as well.
Nice.
What is that one you got there?
So this is what I ran in on Sunday. This is the circuit vest. It's got a sweet, it's bladder,
Nice.
2 liter bladder, super comfortable. As you can see, you can see through the mesh, so it's super lightweight. At first feel, it was a little, I thought maybe a little scratchy, but it's not. Super comfortable. Really enjoyed this vest. I was questioning it, but really had a good run with this on Sunday. So that's really awesome. Happy with that. It doesn't have the side, so it's just straps on the side. So when it comes to added nutrition and stuff like that, it's got some front pockets you can use. For 100, it may be like an in-between aid stations vest. So dump one, pick this up for 15 miles, and then pick up, another vest.
Yeah.
The second one I got was the trail vest. Awesome. Haven't had a chance to run in this yet. It's a little small for my size.
And this is the one that Neil is going to be taking a look at for us. Awesome.
So this does have the side, so it's full coverage. It's got the same lightweight material, so I'm actually bummed this isn't going to fit me. I think Neil's going to have a blast in this thing, but really like the build quality so far of that.
Yeah, Camelback does a good job. It's funny from a brand perspective. I mean, Camelback was the OG with a lot of those backpack-based hydration, and then at least in the running space, I mean, it became UD and Solomon, and not that it's not UD and Solomon and Nathan and all that stuff, but all of a sudden Camelback was kind of like an also ran. But it's really fantastic to see that they're kind of really making that bigger effort. And I don't know if it's an effort. I don't want to call it an effort. It's not a judgment, but they're putting out a really super legit product back into the trail running space, and not just like somebody from Arkansas on a 3-mile hike in Rocky Mountain National Park.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No offense to people from Arkansas.
And then last but not least, my current favorite as far as the
Vapor Crar.
Yeah, the Vapor Crar.
Yep.
This thing has been a workhorse for me. It's at the end of its life. It's about 2.5 years old. It's probably got a couple thousand miles in it.
Yep.
It smells like the bottom of a trash can. And I deal with salt air here.
Yeah.
You know the salt air here. So like the zippers are starting to
corrode,
and I can't open the zippers. But this thing was just all-time favorite so far.
I mean, it's not just salt air, man. I mean, if you think about it, like it's the salt from your body in addition to 100%, the salt air.
100%.
I mean, I ran in a Vapor Crar myself Sunday, and it's probably about the same. And it's the zippers are a little bit better shape again, probably the salt air aspect. But yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic vest, very body fitting. You know, it's like on you. Where else would it be? But yeah, it's good stuff. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so are you wearing a heart rate monitor when you run, or is it just wrist based? Right. So what watch are you wearing there?
I got a Suunto 9 Baro.
Yeah, same. So we were wearing the same exact.
Yeah, 2 years old, 3 years old. Got it when it first came out as mommy bought me a Christmas present. And I've loved this thing. I had the the blue Sunto Apex. What was that watch?
I can't remember, but I have it too.
Yeah, I love that watch. And then when they changed over to the 9 Baro, I was like,
yeah,
I need that.
Yeah.
So.
Good watch. Great watch. It's the Suto Peak, not Peak 9 Peak Barrow something.
Yeah.
That again, guys. Show notes. Show notes.
Yes. And I will say, for anybody who has one of these, not to knock Sunto, but don't buy the replacement watch bands off Sunto.
I just did this. I just got.
I bought Amazon. 5 off of Amazon, and they come with a fat dude. They're great. Yeah.
Like $10.
Mm-hmm.
No, agreed. No offense, Sunto, but their bands are like $60.
Yeah, I'm like, I can buy 5 for $12.50. Yeah, and if it blows out and
you're out $5, you're at $12.50.
Rock and roll.
Yeah,
still up.
Yeah, exactly. No, again, I agree with you. No offense, Sunto. I love Sunto products. I love it. They've really worked on their interface, kind of going direct from the Sunto app, direct feed into Strava and all that stuff. But yeah, the band, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna. No offense, Sunto. Unless you guys want to send us a bunch of watch bands, I'm more than happy to have that.
I will wear test the out of them.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Shorts.
Ooh. Base layer or outer layer?
Good call. Let's do base layer because I'm gonna pull. I don't know. I'm gonna have to pull up my Amazon purchases to tell you guys what my
right here. This is all anyone needs to know right here.
Sax
underwear with the built-in ball. What do they call it? The ballpark. Ball pouch or whatever it is.
Ballpark.
I've been rocking the Quest. It's a ballpark pouch.
There you go.
But the Quest Brief, it comes in a 5-inch and a 7-inch.
Okay.
And depending on what size shorts you're wearing, whether they're like 3-inch split or 5-inch split or whatever. Awesome short. All I've been wearing for 2 years now, and tried other things. Nothing is as good as that.
So, I wear the, and I think it's just because I've been wearing them for before even Sax existed.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty comfortable with them, but it's the New Balance, just New Balance Boxer Brief, Fly Front. I'm holding it up to the screen here. And again, guys, we'll have a thing on this. These are kind of the 6-inch. I've done the shorter ones, which I don't mind them. I don't want the longer ones. I don't need my underwear coming out of my knees. The shorter ones, though, like I have big thighs. I just do. It is what it is. I've always had big thighs. And I need that protection in between the thighs there. And so these are long enough without being overly long. The short ones, which I like, kind of the 3 or 4 inch, whatever it is, they just tend to ride up because they don't have that grip lower in the thing. So that's a big deal for me. I rarely, unless I have a short that has a boxer brief built in, I'm going to wear one. And frankly, even with shorts like these right here that I'm going to show you guys in a second from Patagonia, they have a great liner, fantastic liner. If I'm swimming or if I'm just kind of walking around, fine. But if I'm running, I'm putting a boxer brief on even under like the brief liner because it's just much more comfortable to me that way. So
agreed.
Shorts. So do you use any chafing cream or anything? I don't really use
Squirrel's nut butter.
Do you? Oh, that's right. We've talked about that.
But I mean, if I'm going long, but with those Sax, you by no means you need to wear them for every run. Like I was wearing some like off the rack Under Armour or something, just plain everyday boxers.
Yep.
No, I was like lubing up all over the place, and I smelled like coconut oil for the rest of the day. And
it's a good look.
Yeah. As far as shorts, though, Nike Trail.
Yep.
These shorts are another Boss short. They've got these little things to hold your gels if you want to, little pockets, full zippered pockets, which shockingly enough, don't zero rub on the inside because they've got a good liner.
Yep.
And it's got a full phone pocket in the back.
Oh, awesome.
And then it's got like a hole. You see, I don't know if you can see, but you can stick your hand through it in the back, so you can put like a t-shirt. If your t-shirts, you take your t-shirt off, you can put the t-shirt back there. Lots of storage, lots of comfort, super lightweight. And they're like a 4-inch split or 4.5-inch split, so short. So I show a lot of thigh.
I mean, that's where things have gone, right? I mean, you look at, there are people who like to rock the longer short. Courtney DeWalter, for instance. I mean,
yeah,
but she's not that good.
Say that with a straight face.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, you see people doing that, but I mean, more and more, it's kind of like my skin is what cools me down. And like, if I have a big short on, it just feels draggy. And even if it's super lightweight, which a lot of them are, I still just like something shorter. I don't go like the 3-inch split, but definitely that 6-inch, 5-inch. I like that. So speaking of, so this is the men's Strider Pro shorts from Patagonia. So this guy also, whoops, full phone pocket in the back here, zipper phone pocket. And then on each hip, it's actually got these pockets where it's kind of the elastic over the top, but because they've kind of, it's hard to see. On one side, they basically braid, if you will, the way the elastic goes. So on the front side, it's on the top is on the top, and then the bottom's on the top, on the back. Anyway, that it does a really good job of making sure that things are very secure. And again, if you have something that you're worried about dropping out, put it in a zipper pocket in the back. I rarely put my phone back here on a pocket like this, because if I do, I'm going to put a bag around it to make sure that I don't sweat through it like crazy. Because again, salt and liquid on a $1,000 phone, I'd rather not. So there's that. On the inside, they get away with all these pockets and things like that. There's no trace of it, because as you can see here, there's one little seam dead right in the smack in the middle of the back here, and then this little string for kind of holding these up to dry out. But otherwise, it is a solid waistband with 0 seams all the way around the inside, which I really love these shorts. They're very good. And then I have this short, which I have not tried yet. There are 2 things here that we're going to talk about that I haven't tried yet. This is the Dash 5-inch short from Saucony. Kind of excited to try this guy out. Let me see. I mean, it's just a straight up short. It's a little on the. It's definitely heavier. Here I am than the Patagonia one I was talking about a minute ago, but still, it's got a nice zip pocket in the back. I don't believe that would truly be able to hold my phone, but it might be close. But yeah, it's just kind of a basic short, you know. So looking forward to trying those guys out. All right. We don't have any. I mean, what socks do you wear? I didn't bring any socks. You have socks there that you're rocking?
Of course, I brought socks.
The Injinjis, do it up. Look at that. Still loving the Injinjis, man.
Yeah, you can. I take that back. So I got some Pro compression socks.
Okay.
Just because Injinji unfortunately doesn't make a compression sock that's like crew height. It's either all the way to your knee, or not. And just wanted something for walking around the house, to keep my feet kind of, get that blood going.
Yep.
I ran a few miles in a pair the other day. Wasn't terrible. Now I won't run long in them because my feet have gotten real nice to the individual toe holes. So, but for a compression sock, good sock.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I've brought 4 shoes.
I brought 3. You're giving me shoe envy.
I will start with hold on, let me make sure that I'm telling you guys about the right model. So the first one that I'll talk about is it's the Terra Kiger. So it's the Terra Kiger 7, I believe. I'll show you guys. And I don't have the 8 yet. We're working on it. So this is the 7. That's right. Okay. So wait, where'd you go, Aaron? Hold on. I clicked the wrong screen. There we
Nike
go.
said, oh.
So there we go. So this is the Terra Kiger 7, Zoom Terra Kiger 7 by Nike. I've been running this shoe for quite some time, and it does a great job. I've really always liked the Terra Kiger shoes from Nike. I know a lot of people that have kind of mixed opinions on it. I think it does a good job. The Wild Horse, the original version of the Wild Horse, which is actually sitting right over there, was a much how would I put it? It was much more closely related to the Terra Kiger at the time. Now they've kind of parted ways quite a bit. But the Terra Kiger has kind of been my go-to. It's not much to it in terms of stack height and all that stuff, but there's still a good deal of protection. It's just kind of a light and fast shoe. So this is one that if I need to go rock out 5 miles and I feel like for whatever reason, I don't know, mostly because I tend to rotate through shoes. I don't want to wear something that I've been wearing a lot. This is something that I will go with. So how about you? What you got?
Well, from a trail side, I brought the Speed Goat.
Nice. Oh yeah, so I did too.
Yeah. So the Speed Goat 5, the newest version. I love what they've done with the upper to this thing. It is
Yep.
my favorite iteration of this shoe. I hear a bunch of people, or I've read a bunch of people are kind of complaining about this guy, the rocker, heel rocker. That
Heel pull.
I'm a fan. I like it. My foot goes into it.
Yep.
I could see if you're running in super dusty, small pebbly areas where you could get some stuff in there. But they
Yeah.
make gaiters, so if you're that big of a wuss, suck it up and put some gaiters on.
Yeah. I I'll say, I mean, like in the Nike, so we'll kind of hold side by side. Like the Nike here, it has a much more close fitting around the heel collar, whereas this does act like kind of like a scoop. But like you're saying, you're right. If it's going to bother you that much, and I will say that I have gotten a couple things down in there, but again, like the trails I'm running, I don't care what you're wearing. You're going to get something. You can wear gaiters all day long, buddy. It's not going
Exactly.
to matter a
Right.
bit. So yeah, it doesn't much matter. I'll say the what's it called? The Vibram Mega Grip with traction lug on this. So if you guys, I'll try to hold up to the camera, but you're not really going to be able to see. On each individual lug here, they're kind of these like micro features. And in the way that the dirt and dust and rocks and all that crap here operate, it can actually get kind of rolly. You can slide quite a bit if something doesn't have really good traction. This does a good job because the point of having these multiple levels on each lug and then within those multiple levels having these little dots that stick off of them is you're creating more overall surface area, right?
Yeah.
It's not any different than having something that's got like a powder coat that's kind of got like a not like a gloss powder coat, but like a rough powder coat. Things are going to bead off of that because you're creating more surface area. The molecules of the surface tension of the water are not going to be able to get down into them. But anyway, whatever. Similar principle with this, in that the grip on this I find to be fantastic. The upper as well, and I'm in the middle, like about to publish a review later on today of this shoe, and then we'll do a video later this week. The upper's great. I mean, they're not a bunch of overlays. There are two overlays on this. There's the toe cap, which is kind of that TPU overlay, just the welded overlay, which does a good job. I mean, if you're clumsy prone, and there's a stick to be kicked, you're gonna kick it. It doesn't matter if you got it. This will just maybe prevent you from breaking a toe. And then you got this kind of one other sort of mesh, kind of stiff overlay right around the heel counter. I like this heel pull too. I know I've heard a lot of people that love it. They
Yeah.
weren't the first to do it. Adidas and
No.
the Ultra Boost had a very similar thing. It wasn't quite pointed like that. It was more squared off in the back. But that thing it's really great to grab onto. I'm okay with the little loops to put your finger through, but frankly, by the time I can get my fat fingers through those heel loops, I've just stuck my finger down in the shoe and pulled.
Right.
I mean, so anyway, good shoe, like
Yeah.
really good shoe, and not smushy. If you're somebody who's never worn a Hoka, because you're like, oh, I don't want to run in that much shoe, go run in it, dude. Try it on. Honestly, I think people would be surprised. It's not
You
what
can
people
still feel the
think.
ground.
Totally,
You can still feel the ground.
yeah, and that's that CM EVA foam that does a good job, and it's not overly smushy. It's not squishy at all. And now Hoka makes shoes that are much squishier. This just is not one of them. So Anyway, what do you have next?
So I brought two iterations of the same shoe, I would say, and maybe I totally, that's wrong. So I've got two shoes. So
Okay.
I've got the Clifton 8.
Okay.
This is my newest one because the three other pair I have are trashed. Super awesome shoe. It's my everyday trainer. It's very light. It's very soft. I like the upper. They've got a very similar upper to the next shoe I'm going to show you, which is this guy, which is the Hoka Kawana. And these are the shoes I brought because the other two pair I was running in, a pair of New Balance and a pair of Sauconys are, I mean, garbage trashed. Like, you can't wear them. Like,
that's how you know you're doing a good job, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
but yeah, so I mean, right now I feel kind of Hoka centric, but it is what it is. I will say the Saucony Endorphin Shift is a fantastic shoe for anybody who's looking for a cushioned Saucony shoe, who likes that foot shape.
Yep.
Very, very good shoe. And then the New Balance 1080. I think they're on version like 11 or something.
12.
12, yeah.
Yeah, good shoe. Good shoe. I love the 1080. I mean, it's a go-to of mine for sure. So this is the Merrell Moab Flight. If you guys watched before, I've mentioned this before. They did a good job with this. The mesh on the upper of this, there's no overlays. It's just purely kind of stitched mesh, as you can see there. And in fact, in the toe cap, there is something underlaying kind of that's a little bit of rigidity around the toe to protect it, but it does a good job. Not an overly smushy shoe. There's a little bit more stack than in some previous Merrell iterations, but the outsole, which is again kind of Vibram Mega Grip, it's not Mega Grip with traction lug, but it's this gum rubber kind of material down here. Does a good job. I've been running a lot in this. They've got a nice little kind of rand, which you can't see. Rand on in this case is kind of this outer thing right here. It's just kind of it's just painted on. I mean, it seems like, but not really. That said, if you were running over water with this, something like that might prevent it from draining quite as much as you might want it to. Also with this shoe, I actually swapped out, and I talked about this last time we were on. I swapped out for the Superfeet Adapt Run thing from the original kind of the stock sock liner with this guy. Because I kept getting a hot spot right when I went over 5 miles. I was getting a hot spot behind the first metatarsal, so behind the ball of the foot, and it wasn't great. So I switched over that sock liner and it's been doing very well since. So the final piece of gear that I will talk about is something that I haven't even opened yet, and it is this Saucony Peregrine 12. So let's take a look at this, shall we? Let's see.
You've piqued my interest.
I haven't even taken it out of the box. Let's see here. Ooh, oh shit. Okay. So first, and this particular thing, I dig on the colorway. So I need to take pictures of it. Just so you guys know, when we get a new product in, we try to take pictures of it very soon because it will never look like this ever again. It will be so dusty. And I mean, look, Aaron's Speed Goat to my Speed Goat, it's like yes, yours are dirty as well, but mine are just like a dusty nightmare.
Oh, I took a brush to mine before I brought them upstairs.
Oh, okay, princess. So in this case, these will never look quite as beautiful. So if you're listening to this on the podcast instead of watching on YouTube or Rumble or whatever, it's a very nice kind of like a green, right? Like a mint green.
Yeah, so it's like a mint seafoamy. Very.
Yeah. I dig it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of first impressions, very minimalist upper. If you look at that,
is there a shine to it, or is it
a little?
Yeah,
a little. Yeah, just a little bit. Very minimalist upper. You can see kind of some of these like just kind of bonded TPU overlays there, but it's not really even an overlay. It's just kind of like it is, but it's just more kind of like a rigidity in the mesh upper there. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about it since I haven't tried it. It's got great lugs. If you're a Peregrine fan, you're probably going to be a fan of this shoe as well. You can see through there the rock plate in between the lugs there. Simultaneous to that, it does have a bit of a toe cap. And again, I'm just seeing this for the first time, so this is off the top of my head. And you've got a gator clip up here on the toe, or right at
Ooh.
the bottom of the throat, to the top of the vamp. This part of the shoe is the vamp. So yeah, good stuff. I'm excited to run it. I like the minimalist nature.
I do.
Got
It's a good looking shoe.
It is a good looking shoe.
I want to run in the Saucony, if you're listening. I want to run in the Endorphin Trail.
Oh, we'll see if we can work that out. We'll see. We might know some people. So yeah, guys, it's gonna be awesome. So we've got the review for the trail, the Speed Goat 5 is gonna be up here today or tomorrow. The written review, and then we'll have up the video review. So if you're a subscriber to this, we really want you guys, again, to like, share, comment. Please let us know. I mean, what of these things have you tried? Honestly, sorry, I'm writing notes to myself because we're gonna have a crap load of show notes on this. So if you're watching this, click down below and check out all the links to all of these things that you guys can check it out, so that, and just in case you didn't write them down, why, how dare you not have a pen and paper ready while you're listening to this clearly very important podcast while on your run or on your way to work. So Aaron, anything you'd like to add about gear and stuff like that before we start to check out?
No, but if anybody has a specific piece of gear they'd like to hear thoughts on, or they have thoughts of, let us know in the comments below. Love to talk. We could nerd out about gear, probably for weeks on end. Anything that hasn't worked for you that you fell in love with from one generation to the next. You know, when it goes from like a Speed Goat 4 to a Speed Goat 5, did that work for you? Did it not work for you? Let us know. Love to hear your thoughts.
Well, and I'll tell you, man, on that note real quick, the Speed Goat 1, huge fail for me personally.
Sure.
It was fun to run in. Like, the feel of the shoe was, it was like boundy and fun, but the fit was trash. And now we're on this shoe and I'm like, wow, this is like, honestly, what are my go-tos, you know?
Clifton.
Yeah.
It was like the 4 or the 5.
Yep.
Couldn't run in it at all.
Yep.
At all. It took a lot for me to get back into them. And then I was like, okay, you win.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. And they do a good job. I think that Hoka does a good job of really listening to runners. They're not listening to industry people. They're not listening to other footwear designers, but they're listening to just people. I mean, even people in stores, people in run shops are going to have a bias, and they're going to know too much almost. And they're going to be like, well, it shouldn't because X, Y, and Z is happening, so your foot doesn't feel like that. And you go, but my foot does feel like that. Why are you trying to tell me my foot doesn't feel like that?
Right. My foot.
Yeah. And one final thing I would say, this is not related to footwear at all, but because I had it sitting here in front of me and didn't mention it until just now. When I run, especially because we're here in the Front Range of Colorado, I'll get up on some pretty remote trails. You lose signal, all that stuff. I always carry with me, and this is what I happen to be carrying lately. This is the Outdoor Edge 3. This is a knife. I always carry a folding knife. It folds because it's safe, right? I'm not going to fall on this and kill myself. But you never know when you're going to need something like this. Dead serious. I've removed splinters with these things or thorns rather, cactus spines. And so having something like this on me is really a wonderful tool. And in this particular case, this thing has a replaceable blade. There's a little button right here you push, and this blade comes off.
Ooh.
And you can just buy more blades on like Amazon. I mean,
that's fancy.
Yeah, you can sharpen it, but at the same time, it's also something that's completely replaceable. So do you guys carry, I mean, I know people that carry medical kits. When I run with a dog, I have a medical kit that's super lightweight that I will specifically carry for her, especially since she's getting a little bit older. What are you guys carrying? What's your favorite gear, man? And like Aaron said, honestly, if there's something that you want us to check out, very specific, that you would like us to talk about, to review, whatever it is, let us know. You don't have to let us know in the comments if you're uncomfortable with that. You can always shoot an email to Brandon@gearist.com, or Aaron, again, ARR, not AAR, but ARRON @gearist.com. Let us know. We'd be more than happy to let you guys see if we can get our hands on it and take a look at it. So until then, Again, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of the things that you can do to help support this show. And to those of you that have been dedicated listeners, watchers, viewers, all that stuff. Aaron, thank you to you. I appreciate your co-pilotedness right here with me, your co-pilot. So thank you, sir. And that's it, guys. Episode 10 in the books. We will see you for episode number 11. See you, Aaron.
See ya.